Hey everybody, I feel a little awkward because I used to do videos all the time in the past for a at-home job I did, and it came so easy. But lately, I can't seem to make a video because nothing just comes out right anymore. I'm so all over the place, and I don't even know how to exist, really. I sounds crazy, but the world is crazy. And so today I'm coming to you guys as just a mom, a wife, a believer, an individual, a Hoosier, an American, whatever you want. I'm coming to you today. And I'm going to tell you something that is going to be all over the place. But here it goes. Last month, our legislators went back in session to discuss redistricting. During that time, there were some representatives in Indiana who introduced legislation or tried to introduce legislation to end the state of emergency. I reached out to my representative, Doug Gutwein, on September 16th. And he replied to me Thursday, I think it was the 14th of October, so just a little bit, almost a month. It took almost a month for him to reply to me as a constituent, as a taxpayer, as the person who employs him. He's thankful, right, that I gave him my vote. And so I'm reaching out to him to ask for his support to co-sponsor this bill and to end the state of emergency so that maybe, just maybe, we can go back and have some normalcy in our lives. So after a month, right, now let's go back a second. I did email him about two things. I emailed him about redistricting, and I emailed him about the state of emergency. I emailed him about the state of emergency because I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't know how to say things, professionally or anything like that, but I am scared. I'm scared about this vaccine. I'm scared about the mandate. I'm scared that my husband's not going to have a job because of it. I'm fearful. Every day my kids go to school, I'm terrified that something will happen. And I know that sounds crazy because we live in a small town and we think it's all great, and it doesn't matter how rural of a community you live in if people are scared to voice an opinion, if people are scared to go against the national push because, that's just what we're being told to do and it's easier. Well, that's not why we elect politicians. They represent us. So I emailed him back, and I want to read this email because during the time of my email to him to end the state of emergency to right now in my life, my husband's job is mandating the vaccine. He works at General Electric, GE Aviation in Lafayette, and we knew it was coming because, the Biden administration's, mandate on the federal employees and their contractors. And so we knew it was coming, and we were very scared because we're like, oh my gosh, like, how do we do a religious exemption, right? Like, we have a belief that is so hard to explain. There's no words for it because that's just how it is. A belief, I can ramble and rant about it for hours. I can for sure tell you why this is a deeply held religious concern for me. Not for everybody, for me, for my husband, for my children, our family. But what scares me is that now all of a sudden it's okay for these businesses to be judge, jury, and executioner and give a 4-page document to my husband for a religious exemption, questioning his sincerity on his beliefs. That is wrong. They are not God. They do not know my husband's heart. They do not know my heart. Why is it okay for them to be the judge that day? A team of people to look at this and say, you know what? I don't think they're sincere. That is wrong. That is a complete violation of religious freedom. So I wrote this letter to Gutwein. This morning I sent it. I said, "Good morning. I appreciate your email. However, I sent this over a month ago. I sent this email prior to you going back into session for redistricting because I was hoping that before you went into session, you would have heard my plea and co-sponsor the bill with your Republican colleagues to end the state of emergency. However, this is the most important and time-pressing situation in my life. My husband's job is mandating the vaccine because of the Biden administration's unconstitutional mandate. You tell me that it is up to Governor Holcomb and up to the Attorney General. I have contacted both of them with my concerns. They have been vocal in saying that it is a business's choice, while at the same time, our Indiana Chamber of Commerce is giving tiered recognition for being 70% to 100% vaccinated and acting like it's a medal of honor. This is not supporting businesses' choice. This is incentivizing them to follow and enable the Biden administration's agenda. My husband's work, of course, is saying that they will accept religious and medical exemptions. However, we are very concerned that my husband and I's deeply held religious beliefs are being examined by people to determine if they can approve it or not. Last time I checked, God was my judge, and He knows my deeply held religious beliefs. I do not feel comfortable leaving it up to a team of people to decide if we are being sincere or not. They do not know my heart, but God does. Are you, as my representative, pressuring Todd Rokita and Governor Holcomb to do their job and take legal action? Do not tell me to call Todd Rokita, because I have, and Governor Holcomb. Do you think that legal action should be taken? Isn't it your job to fight for your constituents? I know you are not seeking re-election, but you do have one more session, and I expect you to do your job." According to the GE Chief Human Resource Officer Kevin Cox's email, there are states that are challenging or plan to challenge the executive order for employees who live in their state, and they will adjust it on a case-by-case basis. Therefore, I need my legislators to fight for my rights, my children's rights, my family's rights, and every other person's God-given right for our country. Enough is enough. We cannot be complacent and push the task off on the next legislator. You all need to be fighting this for we, the people. You said to me in the last email that ending the state of emergency would impact Indiana negatively. Here are a few questions in regards to our previous conversation. What is your opinion on the importance of the state of emergency? Why would ending it end over 8,500 nursing jobs? In my email, he shared with me that it would be a problem if we ended the state of emergency because we would have, understaffing at health facilities and 8,500 nurses wouldn't have a job. And so I'm just trying to figure out, how ending the state of emergency would do that. Because aren't the health facilities already seeing understaffing? I know from utilizing medical services over the past year that the answer is yes. If you ask yourself, why is that? And the answer is from these mandates, then it is your job to force their hand. I get it. We need to have development and we need to have money to run our state, but at what cost? States should not be owned by private companies because of the business dealings we are making. In my opinion, the business has a privilege to be in our state, and if they don't like our state laws and business practices, then we attract businesses that align with our values. We are not here to bail out these hospitals for making mandates. End the state of emergency. These businesses have to realize that they will not operate without the respecting employees' rights. I am not saying that people should not go get vaccinated. I am saying that people should have a choice. The mere fact that they have to bribe businesses with tiered recognition programs for the state and individuals with small bonuses and free whatever is popular that day is enough to make me sick. The fact is, they have moved past bribery and onto force. They are now saying, you get the vaccine or you do not work. What do you think will happen to the workforce then? How will the state of Indiana be affected when the workforce stops working because of the unconstitutional mandates? What I can see is if we stop the mandates and fight back the administration, we can encourage other states to do the same. Isn't that what we want? to be leaders. We are following the pack. Other states have ended the executive emergency and are functioning just fine. We are not here to bail everyone out. This is a Republican state, and we need to start acting like it. Otherwise, you can kiss that voter base goodbye. If things aren't changed, people will most likely move to a state where freedom is valued. Are we trying to become Ileana? There are 24 states that are currently not in the state of emergency. 2 more is equal. 3 gives us majority. It is time to put politics aside, Mr. Gutwein. I know that the norm is politics, but politics is what got us here. It is time to govern for the people. It is time to look beyond the next few years and see what road we are headed down. We are selling Americans out. I demand action. I at least expect you to be my voice for me at the state and to the rest of your colleagues. I expect you to be calling and pressuring your colleagues to do what is right. I know I'm not the only one feeling like this, but I may be one of the only ones willing to fight for it. I sent that email this morning, about an hour ago. And I'm making this video right now because I don't have a month. I don't have time for them to wait to go into session. And neither do you. They started with the medical industry. They started with the military. They fought back. People said, we support you. We're not out in the streets supporting them. We have had protest after protest after protest at the governor's mansion and, down at IU and at the house, at the state building, the Capitol, and we've done it. It's time to show up. Actions speak louder than words. I'm tired of people sitting on Facebook. I do it too. We sit on Facebook and we feel like we're activating for, activism, and we're getting the word out and we're sharing and, we're trying to help people understand. But guess what? It doesn't do anything if there's no action behind it. And it's time to take action. Southwest started this. Well, really, we're not going to go where what started this. What started this for us is I just seen Southwest and the pilots and the weather problem they're having, which, believe what you want, I'm now living it. I see why they're terrified. These religious exemption forms is an attack on our religious freedoms. It's an attack. They are coming to us and saying, well, we need to see if you're sincere or not. What gives them the power and authority to tell me if my beliefs are not sincere enough? Who gives them that authority? Because I know it wasn't God. I know it wasn't Jesus. I know it wasn't my creator. They do not have the authority. Enough is enough. Call your senators, call your legislators, call your freaking commissioners. I don't care. Start at the bottom, work your way up. Start at the top, work your way down. It's time to use your voice. There is no more time to be complacent. And you might think I'm crazy, and that's fine. I don't care. I do not care, because I sit here with my Bible and I read it and I'm terrified of what road we're headed down. And you should be too. You might not feel like it's an attack on your freedom right now. And that's okay that you don't feel that way. But they start somewhere. And once our rights are gone, it's going to be really hard to fight for these freedoms. And it's time to take action. And it's time to stop being complacent. And it's time to stop letting this world and these politicians control our lives, okay? I'm going to rant about something else for a second because it's important and it's so petty. But this is what we're dealing with. Did you know that I just spent, an hour maybe composing this letter, trying to put my thoughts onto paper? And what did I do? I sat there and I typed and I typed and I typed. And, I'm a pretty quick typer. And I thought, oh my gosh, the other day my kids told me they do computer class and they were learning typing, and they don't do it on a computer. They don't even have keyboards. They're doing it on iPads. There is no flipping way that I would be able to sit down on an iPad and ramble all this off efficiently, why are we doing this to our children? Why are we doing this to our world? Why are we doing this to our country? Why are we giving up our rights? Why are we fighting each other? Vaccinated or not, do you think it's okay for the government to make choices about your body for you? And we can go down the abortion route, and I'll gladly have that conversation. But you know what? It's not right. Because what it comes down to is we're all sinners. We all sin. Jesus knew that. Which is why when we repent, and in your heart, Jesus knows if you're sincere when you're repenting. It's a relationship between you and your God. It's not a relationship between you, your God, your employer, the state, the federal. It's none of their business. And you should stand up for other people's rights too. Because one day it's going to be your rights that are affected. Your beliefs that are questioned. Your sincerity that is questioned. And my God, please help us. Because that day is coming sooner than later. And all I can say is I hope that when you go before your God, you can say you did what was right. And what's right is letting people have a choice. Because you can choose. You can choose. If you sin, is God going to punish you forever? Not if you're truthfully and sincerely repenting your sin. Right? Isn't that what we're taught? Aren't we supposed to trust him and have faith in him and not be fearful? And all we're doing is living in fear. Fear of if we're going to have a job. Fear if we're going to be able to go into a store without a vaccine passport. Fear of if our kids are getting indoctrinated in school. Fear if the teachers are teaching them their, curriculum or their own personal views. Fear. Fear is everywhere. And it's time to take fear out and put faith back in. And I read you that letter because I sent very similar ones to all of my representatives today. And Governor Holcomb, I haven't written to him yet today because I don't really have enough. I don't have anything to say to him because he's not doing his damn job. Along with every other rhino in this state that's sitting on their hands and saying, well, this will affect our business. This will affect our business. You know what? Let's stop thinking about business, right? Let's think about we the people. How about that? Let's think about what's good for us. Because what's good for us is what's good for business. Because if people shop and people are working and people have money, then economies flourish, right? I mean, I kind of thought this was all common sense, but here I am. So my plea to you is to get off Facebook, call your legislators, call your senator, maybe run for office. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm got tons of things going on up here, but what I can tell you is it's not right. It doesn't feel right. My gut tells me that what we're doing is wrong. And I know other people feel like that too. And I know other people are terrified that their religious exemptions are going to be questioned. And I just don't know who these companies think they are to tell you if you're sincere or not in your sincerely held religious beliefs. Because I can tell you this, I'm sincere. I'm myself. I'm exactly the way God created me. And I'm sharing this video right now because this is exactly the way he created me. I can't sit by. I can't just stop. I have to say these things. And if I don't do a video, then how am I going to put it all out on Facebook? How are people going to see it? Are people going to say, you know what? I cannot relate to her. I feel what she's going through. Can we join together? Can we stop fighting? Can we stop being divided, right, left, white, black, rich, poor, religious, not religious? Can we just stop and realize, right, exactly what we are. Individuals who all have a difference of opinions, but somehow we've created the most free nation in the world. The freest country in the world. And yet we don't seem very free. It's time for action. It's time to stop making excuses. Our legislators need to do their job. And if they're not going to do their jobs, then it's time to get them out of office. And if that means we have to run, regular old people have to run, because politicians are just being politicians, then I guess it's time for that. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. Soul search. Figure out what God is leading you to do and do it. Because right now, me sitting at home, full of anxiety, full of fear, tears streaming down my face, fighting with my husband, that's not what God wants. We're fighting because we're scared he's going to lose his job because they won't accept a religious exemption in which we believe. Tell me that's not wrong. Someone explain that to me. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that. And I hope that you listen to this, and I hope that you call your representatives, and I hope that the next time there's a rally, you go, and I hope that you question things. We're here. We are here in this very position because we've let them get away with this shit far too long. Far too long. And I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about decades of we the people not holding our elected representation accountable. And the buck stops here. You guys have a great day. I really, truthfully hope that you call your representatives. I hope you use your words, your voice. Do it. Do it. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Have a good day.